Have you ever longed to be able to talk about values and morals or faith and spirituality without feeling judged? Hi, and welcome to our podcast, Mindful Moments, Insights to Empower the Soul. This podcast will empower you to embrace your true self. Hi, we are here to talk about our new upcoming podcast hosted by me, Dr. Debbie Gilmore, and Sherilyn Green. We are marriage and family therapists, and we're humans with a passion for personal growth and overall well-being. We live in a less than ideal world, so it takes intention. We have to work at it, and we have to be there for each other. So we hope to offer soulful conversation, explore topics based on values, spirituality, and to spark new ideas for better living for us all.
Thank you, Debbie. I'm so excited to sit here with you and talk about all of the things that you have just mentioned. And one of the things we want to talk about is what you can expect on our podcast. We will talk about things that we are and things that we're not. And it's our absolute hope that we can dive beneath the surface of thought, that this can be something that stretches our souls for more meaning, more heartfelt exploration, and to talk about the things that you've longed to explore. That's truly our hope as we embark on this journey together.
You know, I love that word stretch, Sherilyn, because often we don't want to be uncomfortable. And stretching our souls for more meaning is really required to be able to rise to the next level of happiness, overall well-being. So I'm glad you pointed that out. Before we get started into the meat of this conversation, I want to invite you to check out our clinic website. It's at eftcounseling.org. And then also, I have a website, drdebbigilmore.com. Now that's DRDEBIGILMORE.com, where you can sign up for my newsletter. It comes out monthly, and hopefully it will be enriching to you. So I invite you to check out those two sources. And I also have an Instagram page as well.
Yeah, and in addition to that, we hope that you'll reach out with us with topics of interest. You can go to our Facebook and Instagram pages. And we really hope that you'll send us questions and topics that touch on your deepest concerns and the challenges of life. We're so comfortable doing that in our own work. And so we hope this is something that will emerge as we do this together.
And you'll find the ability to contact us if you go to my website and just go to the very bottom. It will allow you to send us those comments, feedback, questions, topics. We are wide open. But what we want to do right now, this is just an introduction to our podcast. We want to introduce you to who we are and what we're about. So, Sherilyn, I think the first thing you and I talked about was, and I love that you said this, we are compassionate listeners. That's what we do in our work. We strive to listen with intent and with compassion. And because we want to seek greater understanding of the viewpoints of others, not just our own. Often we get stuck in those thoughts and beliefs. And it's actually tragic because we can grow so much as persons, as humans, as compassionate, service-oriented people when we seek for understanding. The only way we can do that is to listen. And then our purpose for this podcast is to widen and deepen the discussions that people long for, that you long for. But maybe you've been afraid to bring those topics and conversations up because you might be criticized for your belief or judged or whatever you tell yourself. It's so sad that we can't speak up and speak out, not in criticism, not in judgment, but in open conversation, exploration, to maybe with curiosity and desire to know more about each other.
And we also offer a devotional type podcast that we hope inspires a deeper worship in your everyday life. We value so much reverence and worship for things. And so we hope that this podcast will align with your own worship and the ways that you do that in your life. We also believe that we have differences in perspectives, and that's part of the beauty of our world. We love the differences and the diversity of the world. We do find beauty in it. We find we can be informed and taught by so much of this, and we want to be open to that and respectful of that. this is something that we really value, is the differences and perspectives that we each have.
I love that, Sherilyn. You know, in our work, I've had the privilege of working with the five major religions of the world. I've been able to train and work with therapists from every one of those religions, and they're incredible people. I learn from them. And you know what's really interesting to me, Sherilyn? We share the same values. They always coincide, they collaborate, they come together. We use different language to describe them. But to me, that has been so exciting, so fulfilling. And so I'm hoping that our listeners will get a feel for that from us, that they won't feel like we're in a box, locked and unwilling to budge. So we plan to talk about difficult topics, those hard conversations, find ways to communicate with compassion, as we said, and interest instead of judgment and offense, which is happening a lot in our world. Conversations come to a dramatic halt when we disagree and fight to be right. That's just not progressive. It's not helpful, and it hurts souls. I like to say it bruises our spirit. So, as experts in this field of psychology, we've spent hours and hours, years and years practicing, studying the science, studying all the evidence based information, what science and research has found. But we accept only those things that coincide and support with the values that we have established, the foundation of who we are, which bottom line is to create emotional safety, acceptance, a sense of belonging, comfort, and safety in these conversations. Because when beliefs are presented that are damaging, that are judgmental, that are critical, that causes a downfall of society. And that's tragic. So we want to help you, our listeners, understand the difference between, for example, perfection and striving. That's one small example. We see it all the time. I get caught up in that too. I want to do my absolute best. And then I forget that I've set the standard so high, I'll never be able to reach it. So we want to help with regards to perfection versus striving, to help you achieve a sense of meaningful purpose while recognizing that perfection is a journey, not a destination. So I love this. The Latin word imperfectus means incomplete, or I like to say, I'm not done yet.
I love that, Debbie. No, none of us are done. And I love your words that you've used: acceptance, belonging, safety, and connection. I think those words matter so much in what we're trying to do here. And if I could summarize everything that we've just talked about, we long to touch spirits, to deepen wisdom, and to hopefully inspire you with greater courage to speak out. Maybe that's the summary of what we hope for this podcast.
And that's going to be a challenge, Sherilyn, because, you know, we are wide open to these topics. But to be really honest with you and anyone who's listening, it's been a little intimidating to me. I've been afraid of hurting people. And then I thought to myself, wait, no, we've had so many say, please, will you present messages? Will you do a podcast? Will you talk openly? And so I'm starting to realize this conversation is welcome. We hope to offer soulful conversation, explore topics based on values. What are those values? We started to make a list and it grew and grew and grew. But I think today it might be helpful to just outline some of those that we've identified, and there will be more that will be added to that. But let me just give you a few, and then Sherilyn, if you could name some as well. Integrity seemed to come out first. Integrity meaning being honest and consistent in word and action wherever we are, in private or in public. And you know, there's a problem with social media. We have this social comparison thing that we do. And actually, there's another term I want to add to that: upward social comparison, meaning we jump on social media looking at what everyone else does, and we're intimidated thinking, oh, I will never reach that level of perfection, or look what they're doing. That's just so. What I do is I go on Facebook and I present my perfect self. no jammies, got whatever it is. I put my best out there. And then when I sign off, I go back to my normal self. And that causes internal turmoil. We want to be able to be who we are at all times. There's nothing like that peace that we feel. Compassion, we've already talked about that today. Caring for and empathizing with others. So I want to designate there's a difference between empathy and compassion. This is how I teach it. Empathy is the ability to feel with someone, to feel with them, to sit with them and have that empathy, maybe not really fully understanding because we've never really experienced that tragedy, but we feel the emotion with them. Compassion actually is a compelling urgency to do something about our empathy. But then there's one other point I want to make. I think humans struggle with self-compassion. And what that means is allowing others' empathy and compassion into our heart that's aching. So that's another value that we hold, compassion and self-compassion.
I love that part of that word is passion. As you describe the difference between empathy and compassion, there is a passion, an urge to act. And I love that, yeah, this self-passion for ourselves, self-compassion. There's just an emphasis to that word for me that I like. So thank you for describing the differences between empathy and compassion.
So that's what we do, Sherilyn. We take these terms, these topics, and we want to slice it thinner because that expands our mind. I just learned something. I didn't realize passion was in there. And that's beautiful to be able to generate a passion in a life that's less than ideal. So difficult at times. And so I'm so glad you pointed that out. Personal growth is another value that we hold so dear because, as I said earlier, we want to be comfortable. And personal growth, continual learning, self-improvement requires discomfort. There's no comfort in the growth zone. And when we're too comfortable, we need to wake up and say, wait, have I had enough of a pause to be able to stretch a little more? A couple more, Sherilyn. We really want to be able to exercise courage, to honor courage, and courage to choose what's right when there's opposition. But courage to be real is even more important. I'm reminded of the Velveteen Rabbit and how that, the bunny gets rough and the fur comes off the poor little bunny. And the more it's loved, the less fur it has, but the loving little flaws on that bunny make it even more precious. So courage to choose what's right, facing opposition, and courage to be real.
Yeah, oh, I love the thought of that little Velveteen Rabbit, and thank you for that. So other values that we cherish are gratitude, appreciating what you have and recognizing others. We know from our work how important gratitude is in so many ways. We see the benefits of it, and we long in our own lives to be grateful and to find ways to every day get up and see the good and express that, to ourselves and to others, and just appreciate all that we have. Some of it too, it aligns with me, the art of contentment. It's an art to be content. There's so much discontent in our world. And so gratitude is a powerful weapon in that discontent that is looms in many places in our world, to find contentment and to seek gratitude in all that we do.
Can I point something out, Sherilyn? It's so interesting about gratitude and contentment requires us to press pause. We get so busy and speed through life. We forget to stop. My mom used to say, just smell the roses along the way. I know it's a cliche everyone's familiar with, but she had to tell me that often because I do race through life. But I'm realizing that contentment really can only happen when we stop to recognize it.
Your mom is wise. So yes, other values we want to talk about are faith and spirituality. This is an important part of our podcast, is the respectful discussion of all faith and spirituality, grounded in belief and meaning. We have our own faith practices, but we honor and respect and reverence the faith of others and find that we can learn so much from them. And so we value deeply faith and spirituality, and we want to make that an essential part of this conversation that we're having with you and each other. Another value that means so much to us is the value of balance, prioritizing the well-being of our lives across work and family and self. My family knows that balance is one of my favorite words in the whole English language because I think it's so important. It's easy to get out of balance, out of whack. And so something that can be good can become, not good if it's out of balance. And so that ability to balance life well for good well-being and health is so important. And then the final value that I cherish so much is the value of respect. How important that is to have respectful conversations with people, to respect differences, to respect and reverence the good in each other. There's just so much value in learning how to be respectful of people, especially when we differ and have different ideas and are coming from different backgrounds. We can learn so much when the value of respect is paramount in the way we approach things.
Oh, that's so great. Sherilyn, as I think about the backing up to faith and spirituality, I have done a lot of research on what's already out there, the research that's been done on spirituality and religion, and they're distinctly different, but they do have some overlapping concepts. But what we're talking about isn't the organized practice of religion. We're talking about an overall sense of connecting with the spirit, our own spirit, connecting with others, which is spiritual connection. And it's so healing when we can allow ourselves to walk into that space. And actually, I'm going to say to cultivate spirituality. And I heard Cardinal Dolan this morning. He was talking, I can't remember what news it was, but he was talking about the principle of faith and how faith isn't a religious practice, it is hope. Faith means I might be hurting so deeply right now, but I have hope that this too shall pass. I loved listening to him just to outline an understanding of what are we talking about when we talk about faith and spirituality. Certainly not a rigid, it's borderless.
Yeah, and I think we see that in our clients, this beautiful faith. It shows up, as their courage, as their hope. We see that so beautifully lived and illustrated in our work with clients. And that's one of the most powerful places that I've witnessed faith in the healing power of it.
Yeah, in their moments of the deepest grief, when we can help them, even when they can't find it themselves, we sit there and we try to muster up all the faith and spirit we can. And it's such a privilege to be able to offer that to our clients when they feel it, when they tell us they feel it, and when they can hang on to our faith in the hope for the future. It's healing in that moment. And they leave with that hope that we're talking about and are able to experiment with it once they've left. And I'm hoping that you and I and all the listeners can ponder on what does that mean for me? How can I do that better?
Love that, Debbie. Yes.
So, we've kind of come to the last of our list. There's one other value I think I just want to briefly touch on, and then we'll maybe have a whole episode on this, is friendship. That level of acceptance of neighbor, others, and even those that look so different than us, sound so different than us, think so different, and believe so different. That friendship is such a rich part of our world. And we want to talk about those principles. How do you generate that? So, what am I going to take out of this today? I'm not really sure, Sherilyn, except I'm so coming to this point of this episode. I'm so grateful we had this conversation. I'm going to take away that we can do this and that it will be a rich and memorable experience.
Thanks. And I'm going to take away just the value of the things that we're talking about, that they matter so much. I feel that so deeply. And the things that we're going to talk about are significant. And I think more conversations like this are so needed in our world. And I'm so happy to be in a place with you that we can talk about this. And so I think I'm leaving with gratitude that we're doing this together. Thank you so much.
That's wonderful. So what I want you to do is stay tuned to our social media channels and pages so that you can see our announcement of when the podcast will actually launch. This is just an introduction to who we are and what we're about. Thank you so much for listening today, and we will see you soon.
Take care, everyone. Bye.